So I've been kind of reflecting lately on how I've been working out the last couple of weeks, and to be honest, I've not exactly been successful as far as like losing weight. One of my goal was like to be at 180. I'm still at 205, and I've been at 205 for quite some time now. Um, Even still, it's not detrimental to me that I'm still at 205 because I went on this journey from being originally like 220, like, and granted it's been like a couple of years, but I was at 220. Then I went from 220 to 205 to 215, and then I went from 215 to 210, and then I went from 210 to 205, and all the way up to that point. I want to say I was stuck at each one for a handful of months. I would say like maybe 4 or 5 months each time. I was kind of just stuck there, and then I was able to push down to the next one, and I was stuck there, and I pushed down to the next one. Being at 205 has lasted a long time. In fact, and it was crazy because I finally was able to break the barrier and get down to 200. And then I went on vacation, went on holiday, and gained a whole bunch of friggin' weight. It wasn't even a whole bunch of weight. It just shot me back up to 205, and I've been stuck there ever since. Um, so with that being said, and I do know that the reason why I have that problem is because my eating habits. That's always been the problem. I acknowledge that. I do drink sugary drinks. I do eat foods that I should not eat. I even started going on Noom and started to gain more understanding about how I should be eating differently. And you know what? I know exactly that I do not eat that way at all. I do not eat the good way, healthy way. If you know anything about Noom, I eat a lot of red food. Um, I eat some yellow food, a lot of red food, and almost no green food. If you know what I'm talking about with all that, the high calorie dense versus the low calorie dense. I eat a lot of high calorie dense foods. So I really need to stop that. At least even if I just stop drinking soda. I can't speak for everyone. I just know my experience with not drinking soda. I notice a lot of things. I notice that I deal with sleep deprivation better. When I exercise, I feel better. And granted, I haven't tried it at my current age, but before when I was like in my late 30s and I stopped drinking soda, I dropped weight. It happens. I mean, and which makes sense because you're dealing with a lot of high calories that do not take a lot of effort to break down, do not take a lot of that's very easily to process and end up being stored because you're not burning all that calorie. So, and unfortunately, when you have something that's easy to break down, you tend to want to store it more. Your body wants to try to store it as quickly as possible, which you're not using. So so just changing over to just drinking water, I always feel a huge difference. I mean, even with the whole thing with working out, like when I first got off of it, like stopped drinking, like did it for a while, for like over a month. When I stopped drinking it, at first I felt like absolute garbage. I felt like garbage for almost a week. I wanted caffeine. I was dragging very hard. I just wanted to drink something that was full of sugar and full of caffeine. I was really tired. But it seemed like after I broke that barrier, I didn't need it anymore. I didn't need the caffeine. I didn't need the sugar. Uh, I didn't need it to stay awake. That was the point. Not that I don't like sugar. I still love sugar, but it's just the fact that I didn't need it anymore to stay awake. And when I worked out, my workouts were better. In fact, usually whenever I'm in a point where I'm drinking water consistently, I notice that I have more energy at working out, and it's not as hard to work out. And when the first time I crack open a soda, all of a sudden my ability to work out plummets because I'm just like, I don't want to work out anymore. I don't know. I don't know what's in soda that causes that with me, but I've noticed these trends. So, um, so that's a very, so that's a very, very interesting point. But overall, I am happy with how I'm doing, even though I haven't lost the weight, any more weight. I have gained more energy. I am able to stay awake better. I feel better. I feel more energetic. Uh, so even without losing the weight, there are changes that are happening, positive changes that I like, positive changes that help me. So even if I'm not necessarily losing the weight, which I still make it my intention to lose weight, um, it has already helped me tremendously. Working out on a regular basis, because that's not what working out is all about. It's not about dropping the weight. In fact, the only reason why I'm trying to lose weight is I'm trying to help my vascularity, the blood flow in my body, and also to help prevent myself from becoming diabetic. Diabetic, because right now I'm on the cusp, and I don't want to live my life being a diabetic. So I'm trying to get away from that before it happens. So with that being said, just one of those things to keep in mind. It's just something that I have to continue to work through as I with my eating habits. I have to learn how to change those, and and I'll be honest, like I've noticed a lot of changes since I've been very consistent these last few months. So, because now I don't think I'll. It's very, I won't say rare. It's become uncommon that there's ever a point that I don't. How do I put this? It's very rare. It's very common, not rare, but uncommon that um that I don't work out for longer than the stretch of a week. Um, like at the very worst, I will miss a week, and then after that, I'm back on the wagon. You know what I mean? It's not like months anymore or weeks anymore. Most of the time, it's just a few days, maybe a whole week, once in a blue moon, 2 weeks. So I've been very, very, very good at getting back in the gym at least one time, at least one day a week. Um, on average, 3 days a week, and sometimes I can get up to 5 or 6. Rarely 6 though. Usually it'll be between 3 and 5 on average. I can do it. So I've gotten to the point where I'm super consistent and I'm starting to feel the results of working out more. So it's definitely something I want to stick with as time goes on.